Alrighty, guys. Hello and welcome back to the show. Thinking about other intros. Thinking about, all right, you scumbags or something like that. That seems a little too aggressive, though. So anyway, we got a cast on the cards for y'all today. It is a top level cast with a couple of 2000s, and almost everybody is around 1500 or over. And for the record, for those of you who are in the comments of my last video, like, why do you pick such low rated games to cast? I'm still going to do that, and I had already mapped out this game actually to cast in the future. I'm still going to cast lower rated games because I think they're fun, and I like casting them because they offer a little bit of extra flavor. But the top level games are a lot of fun too, so with that, let's get into introducing our players. So we'll start with Team 1 up at the top, and then move to Team 2 down at the bottom. In the far west position, we have Midland Wise, who is going Seraphim, opening first land. Next, we've got Battle Moose, who's got to be Canadian, and he's going Aeon, opening first land. And incidentally, if you've ever been to, I've actually never been to Canada, but I've heard stories where if you are like head to head with a moose, it's a bad day for you. So maybe definitely don't go head to head with a Battle Moose, much less a regular moose. To his east, we have Wesh, who is going Aeon. He's opening first land, going second air. He is kind of the ringer for team number 1 up at 2000. A lot of y'all should be relatively familiar with Wesh. He's been around the community for a long time. To his south, we have Adikos, who is going at UEF, opening first and second land. And rounding it out for team number 1, we have my good buddy Kappa Senpai, who is going first land. He and I used to be rivals until I kind of stopped playing the game as much over the last 2 to 3 months. And now I think he can kick me up one side of the map and down the other. But shifting to team number 2, we have Musai, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, who's going Seraphim, opening first land. To the west, we have Nikorocek, who is going Seraphim, opening first land, second air. In the air position, we have Wi-Fi, who is the ringer for team number 2 at 1900. He's going Aeon, just like his mirror Wesh. And I would imagine this is going to be an Air Factory eventually, but focusing on power generation right now. Actually, Air Factory is going over here, incidentally. Interesting spot to put it, but I would assume he's going to build an air grid out around that. And last but not least, we have Latrot, I'm guessing is how you pronounce the name, who's going UEF, opening first land, going land all day. So, big map we've got presented with us today, 20 by 20 map. Taking a look at the reclaim, we've got a ton of rocks all around the map. Total reclaim coming in at about 30,000. And incidentally, I was watching Jagged's stream today. Jagged is back apparently, so he seems to like come and go every month or so. It seems like over the last 6 months. But anyway, I was watching his stream, and he was complaining about individually clicking rocks. And I was like, wow, that seems like a high-rated player's problem because I just use attack move all the time. If you use attack move, you don't have to randomly click rocks. But this is a Neuroxis map gen map. There's a lot of choke points on this map. So as far as viable avenues of attack, we've kind of got a central causeway, and then the 2 sides kind of open up. And you can't get units in between here, but it's gonna be dicey, especially trying to get 50 tanks crammed through a lot of these really tight corridors. Pathfinding in this game is really good for its time, but has definitely aged a little bit, and sometimes units can get hung up on themselves. Drop actually coming out from Nikorocek, who is going for this 3-mex expansion with, I believe that's 6 engineers on board. Quite a few engineers. Got a bunch of land factories queued up. And yeah, that's 6 engineers. Look at that. Pro level casting. Didn't even have to count the number of engineers on the transport. A beautiful person. A beautiful person with terrible camera work. I'll just sit the camera right here behind the rock while you guys admire the engineers doing their work. But those factories going to go up. That's going to give him a nice little bastion to project his threat onto Kappa Senpai, who might be in a little bit of a 2v1 situation. Although on the flip side, we do have our buddy Ninrai. Oh, I didn't introduce Ninrai. Oh my god. I completely forgot. Ninrai. Ninrai is going UEF opening. He opened first land. Thought about going for an air factory over there, but decided to go for it over there, which is obviously superior. This definitely seems to be the superior air position other than here. I'm sure there's a template or a reason why he's doing this, but anyway, I find it a little bit funny. But he's going UEF on the northern side of the map. God, that's bad. It's bad on me. Played a lot of games with Ninra too. He's one of the people that hosts Map Gen late at night, and he tried so hard to carry my fat ass through one game, but I was unable to keep up, and I think we ended up losing that game. So I felt really bad, but it's okay, buddy. You're getting highlighted in one of my casts here. So Dinrai going to be potentially facing off a 2v1 against the Battle Moose and Millenwise, and I don't know if I would want to go 1-on-1 versus a Battle Moose, but definitely not 2-on-1 with a Millenwise. I don't know what a Millenwise is, but also sounds kind of terrifying because it sounds like a miller who is also wise. So I don't know, think about like in the Middle Ages, somebody with like really, really long beard who also happens to grind wheat into flour, because that was one of the main ways that they actually made food back in the Middle Ages, instead of hunting and gathering. Nice little raid here from Nikorocek. I don't know if he's going to get one mex for sure, but not the end of the world. Although there isn't an engineer really that close there for Kappa, so Kappa's going to be missing out on some mass here, but should be able to clean this up with relative ease. Actually, is going to lose 2 maxes, and he's not going to lose a third. He'll be able to clean that up. Auroras are, of course, the absolute maximum glass cannon. Of course, they can't really hit anything. Kappa definitely needs to send his gunners to back to school. Need to go back to the academy. These thams are getting really, really good trades there. I think that was 3 thams for like 5 Aurora, which is obviously game breaking. Kappa has officially lost the game. Traded 5 tanks for 3. That's game over. It's over. You can click off. We've already predicted it. Based purely on the trade. Alright, push coming in the middle from Latrot. He's running into the forces of Adikos, which I'm really struggling with not saying Adidas, because Adidas is kind of the athletic brand that I really like. It's cheaper than Nike, and it's not bad quality either. But he's going to back up. Meanwhile, Battle Moose on the warpath, getting some tanks in on Ninrai's mass extractors. Also going to take out some mass extractors there for Latrot, and Latrot actually taking that 3-max expansion that I think Nikorocek actually raided from Kappa Senpai earlier. T2 on the way for Ninrai. T2 as well coming in for Battle Moose and for Millenwise. So fire bases on the cards, I think, for everybody. T2 coming in for Latrot. It's not really a good gun map on your commanders. Things are so spread apart, and you know, you've got these little 3-max expansions to fight for, but it's much more about, I think, grabbing as much territory as you can and then protecting what you've got for as long as you can, essentially, which is why we're seeing so many different T2 upgrades now kicking off for players kind of around the map. And right as I say that, they make a fool of me, and Adikos is going for gun damage and range. Seth Amp upgrade coming in on the UEF commander. And I'm curious how the air players are going. So we've got Wi-Fi on his way to Tech 3, coming up on 3/4 of the way done with that. He has pretty much all T2 mexes, actually, with the exception of this one guy right here that is almost done upgrading to Tech 2 and is beginning to ring them with various parties of engineers. And let's see what his opponent is at. So his opponent, all T2 mexes, but is not as far with ringing them yet, and is a little bit behind, and by a little bit behind, I mean behind by about 3 seconds on the air grid. Got some T3 engineers queued up, and gone for a really, really interesting power generator kind of formation there. That's got to be the optimal efficiency there for power generation. Tech 1 skirmishes kind of happening all over the map here as Battle Moose tangles with Latrot as well as Millenwise. And actually gun damage and range now coming in for Ninrai, so proper fool being made of me. I can take guesses at how these maps are going to be played. but obviously not an authority whenever it comes to Forge Alliance Forever. Y'all watch me for my jokes and my memes. Y'all don't watch me because I'm a professional player, because I'm not a professional player. I know the game, play the game. I'm bad at the game. Gun speed now coming in for Kappa, who's already got the gun range upgrade. Got himself a nice little point defense down, getting shelled by artillery. And I think that Zui could stick around and just take out that point defense in its entirety, but not really feeling the commitment there, as Latrot now setting up kind of a Tech 1 point defense, Tech 2 point defense line on that middle causeway. And as far as content on the channel, I've been focusing on casts because I have a lot of fun doing these, and they quite frankly don't take as long. Casts take me probably about 3 to 4 hours, maybe a little more, to complete fully, and science videos take me a good deal longer, up to 5 to 8 hours depending on the actual topic. So I do have some science videos that are in the works for y'all, but I just haven't had quite as much time because I've been coaching swimming. Which incidentally, I ran into a guy in the comments section of a video I did like 6 months ago, and he was like, yo, I swam for this club in Texas, and I was at these meets, and I swam these events, and I finaled in these events. And what's funny is I was also at that meet, and I finaled in the exact same events. So it is extremely possible that this one dude, who I'm not forgetting who it was because it was about 6 months ago, and I swam against each other, which is a really, really small world. But Tech 2 now coming out for Kappa. Obsidian's on the front line. No Ilshivas as of yet for Nikoro check. I say that there is one Ilshiva on the front line, but he does have a comm with a gun upgrade. And Battle Moose defeated by Control K. Not even really sure where his commander is, but bows out of the game. Okay, so he has not been defeated. Well, so he actually did Control K, but gifted everything over to Wesh, which is going to be kind of a double-edged sword here. Incidentally, full share is on in this game. A lot of y'all asked for more higher level games, and this is the double-edged sword that comes with higher level games. Is a lot of them are played with full share, and I know that because I've watched a lot of them. So if you have a replay that is a high-level replay that isn't full share that you want to see casted, definitely send it to the Forge Alliance Forever Discord. That is going to be the most reliable way for your game to get casted, because I pull from there, lots of other casters pull from there. I know Derp gets a lot of his replays from there, Acid Vash, Function, Scooby. I'm trying to remember the other casters. There's a lot of casters now, which is great, because more casting goodness is more better. That's right, I said it, more better. As Kappa now pushing in with Obsidian's, Aurora's, and his commander with a gun upgrade on Nikorochek's front line. Nikorochek strategically retreating, I believe. He does have a vanilla commander, so potentially wise to do so. And is working on getting Ilshivas out. Got a couple Tech 2 land factories at the front line, all of which are producing Ilshivas. Definitely good. Kappa's going to bag that radar right there, so that's going to leave Nikorochek a little bit blind here. Gun speed and range on the way for that Seraphim commander. Nice little gun upgrade, but of course Kappa's attention is split here, having to deal with pushes from both Masai as well as Nikorochek on the bottom side of the map. With things kind of really shifting as far as the game going, because Battle Moose bowing out, that means Wesh is now going to have to micro this front line, which is not, it's a bummer, but he also does get a nice good bit of eco in bonus, so weigh the trade-off there. APM cost for a little bit more eco. I think a lot of pros would take a little bit more eco than sacrificing APM. But that is going to be a nice little run by there from Musai. And not a whole lot in Kappa's base to stop it. Does have Tech 3 Land HQ, actually Harbinger coming off the line just in the nick of time. That should be able to mop up this T1 mob here. Harbinger's pretty good at dealing with Tech 1. Got nice fire rate, got a shield, they move pretty quickly. It'd be better if he parked it under the other shield for some additional safety, but you know, at the end of the day, beggars can't be choosers. You'll take what you can get. And artillery just now making it in there for Masai, but only 2 artillery pieces firing as of now. Another 4 or 5 on the way. So there is potential to do some damage here, but needs to focus his Zui attacks. And I don't think this is going to turn into anything. Nope, that's all going to be nice mass donations there for Kappa. But what it has done is it has shifted Kappa's attention, and now he has lost this 3-mex expansion as well as these mexes up here from Nikorocek doing a nice little run by there. So really splitting Kappa's attention. I think Kappa's starting to struggle a little bit with split attention in the game there. Meanwhile, on the flip side, it would appear that Ninrai has well and truly fortified his position here. Got some mobile missile launchers as well as conducting a Tech 2 point defense war. Same with Millen-wise with his mobile missile launchers. Mobile missile launchers now straying a little bit in range of the Tech 2 point defense, causing them some problems. Ninrai's going to lose a couple of flapjacks there, which is not good. But Wesh with the run by here. Responded to from Latrot. These are Auroras. Paper thin, even in the best of times. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times to have tinfoil on your tanks. And not even going to get into Ninrai's base. Latrot on the ball there. And those Auroras are going to get sandwiched between Ninrai's Tech 1 and Tech 2 forces coming down from the north, and Latrot's pursuing forces from the south. We flip over to the other side. The middle is really just a stalemate. Like, we're not looking at the middle. We're going to pretend that these fire bases don't exist because they're not really doing anything. They're just staring at each other. This is no man's land. These are the World War I trenches, and if you venture out here, it's going to be gas attacks and artillery shells as soon as things fire off. But we have a bunch of monkeys getting absolutely shreked by Ilshabas, and a strat out from Wi-Fi coming over the top. That strat making a beeline for Kappa's base as if Kappa wasn't having enough problems already. There's going to be a Tech 2 mass extractor down. ASF dispatched from Wesh. Seems to have noticed the incursion. A couple more ASFs in pursuit. Actually, a whole bunch of ASF in pursuit. As well as Wi-Fi pulling in his Air Force now. Definitely working with that longer range. And that is actually going to be Nikorocek going down to Kappa, surrounded by Harbingers. I'm going to miss things in this game, guys. It's a big map. It's 20 by 20. It's 5 by 5. There's a lot of good players in this match, so I'm going to miss things. I promise it's going to happen. The only way that I would get every single thing within a cast is if I put the speed to this. Do y'all want to watch a game like this? It's like, all right, here we go. Corona's making a turn. One fired a shot. They're also getting hit by some other ones over here. Look at that. Devastating shots coming in. This is actually kind of cool. It's actually kind of cinematic. You can see all the AA fire, or the interceptor fire, actually coming in from Wi-Fi as well. All right, we'll go back to regular speed now. But that was a fun little excursion. As Wesh's air potentially going to lose that air engagement there, but trading relatively well. Both air forces left with very few ASF. And both air players now in full-blown air grid ASF production as Wesh and Wi-Fi. Actually, Wi-Fi does not have quite as healthy of an air grid at this point. You can see him dropping down a lot of factories, power generation to get that air production up and running, as big push coming in on Ninrai. Actually, I don't know if it's a big push, but it is a push. Got a couple of Ilshabas in this mix, but it's largely Tech 1. And then getting covered by some mobile missile launchers, the Yutsas. Love the Seraphim names. They're so much fun to say. What's my favorite one? It's the point defense. The Yuta Shala. Love it. It makes it so much fun. Although, I feel like whenever I say Yuta Shala, I feel like I'm in Finding Nemo. And it's, God, what are they, it's the one where they're chanting in front of the volcano. I can't even remember, it's like Watu Wahi Oh Ho Ho Ho. It's like all Jabba the Hutt. That's probably better. It's Jabba the Hutt. I'm going all Jabba the Hutt, I think, whenever I say Seraphim names. This mobile missile launcher is going down. Ninrai's position has been relatively compromised here. Only 1 point defense left. And Millen-wise, as well as Wesh, getting pretty aggressive on this position. Ninrai going to evac his commander. Air cover coming in from Wi-Fi, but they are going... Strat is going to run over a couple of Redeemers. Going to take a nice chunk of health off of it. Strat going to let loose on a Tech 2 mix for Wesh. As Ninrai now needs to work some of that overcharging magic. Turn some of that green energy from those fusion generators into Harbinger destroyers, which is weird because normally you would think that these Harbingers would be the Harbingers of Doom, but actually they are in fact the Harbingers of their own destruction. That is what they are. Right, guys? Right. As another one goes down. Another one bats the dust. And that position now needs to be evac'd from Ninrai. And on the bottom side of the map, nice little run by here from Adidas. Adikos is strapped on the Adidas for these Titans, although right now they're actually taking a break. They said it was hot outside. They said they're tired, but now they started moving again. Along with the Mongoosan. As Wesh cleans up some air, some of those ASF. Wi-Fi doing the same. Let's go ahead and do a quick ASF count. I'm thinking Wesh is ahead, but I want to see how much. So we got 30 ASF for Wesh. Wi-Fi up at 16, so about double the ASF for Wesh. We can attribute that to his much healthier air grid and larger production capacity at this point. Wi-Fi, though, on a lot of T3 mexes. Like, a lot of T3 mexes. Although Wesh is too. I don't think Wesh has quite as many. We got this one still upgrading. I think that one was upgraded for Wi-Fi. God, these guys amaze me. Like, their ability to eco so quickly. I don't get it. As SMD coming up. Quantum Gateway already down. Working on some RAS commanders. And Wesh now really just signifying his dominance in the air. Going to take his ASF, land them in his enemy's base. Doesn't care about AA. Doesn't care about any ASF coming off. Those Transcenders now getting dropped for Wi-Fi. Is Wesh gonna land his ASF? I feel like this is kind of like the... y'all remember in the old Halo 3 days on Xbox Live where you used to teabag your opponent? This is the equivalent of teabagging if you're an air player and you've beaten your opponent as you land your ASF in their base. That is the equivalent. We're going to call that the air teabag now. I've trademarked it. Nobody else can say it, or else you owe me $1,000. Trademark is going out right now. I've already filed it with wherever you file trademarks. I did take business law in college, but I actually don't remember where trademarks are filed. Or if you even need to file them. I don't know, I got a D in that class, I barely passed. I got a D in that class and I was like, yep, thanks, that's a passing grade, I'm out. Never looking at law ever again in my life. Whew, okay. Let's talk about eco. We haven't talked about eco yet. So team 1 up by 40k-ish. Just under 40k. So relatively even game by and large from an eco perspective. As Tech 2 now coming in for Wi-Fi. He already has RAS as well. So really not interested in doing anything with this commander other than fighting. Or other than Yeah, he's gonna fight with Ras. Other than sitting still and doing nothing, and Wesh is chilling in the water. This is the equivalent of, Wi-Fi's that up and coming college grad. Really got his first office job. Really looking to make a lot of money, but he's gonna sit in an office chair and just make a lot of money. Meanwhile, Wesh over here, he's chilling by the pool. He's getting an upgrade. He's thinking about doing something with his life, but right now the pool looks pretty deep and pretty cool. And let me tell you, after coaching for 3 hours this evening, whenever it was 105 on the pool deck, a nice cold pool is looking pretty good right now, if I do say so myself. Ninrai, getting semi-bold again, does have Percival's out. Is trying to kind of retake this expansion for the, I guess, 5-ish mexes that are in there. 6 if you count the one that's surrounded by Wesh's units. But he's gotten out there. He's dropped a couple defenses as well as some factories, as we've got another run-by attempt there from Wesh. A couple of Harbingers of their own doom running in. They're going to run into some Volthus there from Wi-Fi, but the Volthus are just passing. They're passing, and then they're landing. But Harb's going to run into a Percival as well as a Titan there from Latrot. And that should be the end of the Harbingers trumpeting the doom of their opponents. Almost getting a nice kill on that Titan, though. Shield now coming in for Kappa, going for full Rambo comm, although I'm not sure if that's advised against this number of point defense. There are a ton of Utashala point defenses here. But what he needs to be concerned about is the ton of Othams that are now running in. As Wes finishes an experimental unit, we'll check in on what that is here pretty soon. But Kappa's in trouble here. These are all miasmas. These are not Oblivions. This is the only unit that he has to fight back. I don't know if Kappa has overcharge. Does Kappa have overcharge? He does have overcharge. Why is he not overcharging? Kappa. Kappa. You're killing me, man. You're killing me. As he eats an artillery shell to the face. That's going to be Kappa Senpai going down. I don't know. Maybe I could actually beat Kappa now. If he as long as he doesn't use overcharge. Alright, so that experimental coming out from Wesh, that was a donut. Your donuts make me go nuts. As the donut now making its way down south, we do have Musai's commander down here. And as far as air goes, let's look at where Wi-Fi is as far as air. So he's shifting his air posturing. He's at 66. Wesh is at 94. So Wesh wins this as long as he plays it correctly. But Donut now really just focusing on cleaning up the Othams. I think he should just go after Masai's commander here. Not shielded. Only got a couple of flak. Shields do pop up just now. Now he's panicking, dropping more flak down. It's the donut now moving in. I'm trying to get a nice cinematic shot. You can actually see the donut killing off ASF that fly through its laser. But Wesh doing a good job protecting that donut. Donut's going to clean out the rest of the AA. Gonna go after Masai's commander here. Masai going down. Last bit of AA is going down, and the last of that little fire base is kaput. Could say going down, but I was a little tired of that. Everything is going down. As Wesh finishes another experimental unit, we got another donut. Wesh's donuts really making me go nuts here. What is that line from? Or something make me go nuts. Oh, I think that's an Office thing. At least that's where I heard it. Your donuts make me go nuts. Michael quote. Tech 3 mexes going down. Wesh is kind of all over the map here with these Harbs. Definitely benefiting from the increased eco, I think. from his opponent. Donut number 1 down to about half HP. Running into a lot of Tech 1 AA. Gonna have to eat through the shield first as Wi-Fi now finishes his own experimental unit. I would imagine that's a donut of his own. We'll see if Wi-Fi's donuts make me go nuts as much as Wesh's donuts. Those are going to be a lot of T3 mexes going down. That's 4 T3 mexes. It's like nearly 17,000 mass. Not an amount to scoff at. That is a donut up for Wi-Fi as well as a ass washer there from Wi-Fi as well. We'll see if his bidets do a little bit better than Rowan's did in the last cast we saw ass washers. ASFs now move in on the donut to the north. Donut number 2. Call this one cream filled and this one jelly filled. Promise I'm going to mix them up eventually, which is the same thing I do whenever I go and buy donuts at the donut shop, is I always mix them up. My wife always buys jelly filled and I like the cream and custard filled. Alright, this is going to be... Ooh, nice little vet there for jelly filled, while cream filled comes in to finish off the rest of what used to be Nicorochek's base there. Actually, wait, that wasn't Nicorochek's base, that was Masai's base. Nicorochek's base is over here. These donuts doing work. I'm definitely feeling more nuts about Wesh's donuts than I am about Wi-Fi's donuts. Alright. Donut on donut. We have a donut collision, donut inception. Wi-Fi's donut going down, eaten up by the other donut, and now that has made both of these donuts even more powerful because they have absorbed the enemy's donut. Alright, that's going to be jelly filled going down. Cream filled still on the warpath though. It's ASF streaming out of Wi-Fi's base. And Zara going after AA first, and then going for what I would imagine would be the Tech 3 mexes. These seem to be pretty juicy targets. We're going to be 1 Tech 3 mex going down. 2 Tech 3 mexes going down. Meanwhile, if we zoom out, Wesh is over here on the other side of the other side of the map as well, microing Harbs and taking on Ninrai. So, yeah, he's all over. It's going to be a lot of Tech 3 mexes going down. Oh, he left that one alive. How very magnanimous of him. They're starting to get a massive ASFs and thinking that Wi-Fi is going to try and get enough here to just kind of one pass this donut. Here he goes. Donut on 3 ranks of veterancy. Shield is at about 40%. And Wi-Fi thinking differently about that. As now we have a, what would this be? We'll call this an eclair. So we've got cream filled and an eclair now out. I know an eclair is not technically a donut, but they sell them at donut shops, so that's what we're working with. It might have been a Billy Nuke. It might have also been Ninrai's commander. I think that was Ninrai's commander. I'm not sure what killed it. I think Ninrai just kind of gave up. I didn't see anything flash across the screen. So that's going to bring us down to 2 versus 3. With, okay, this is Creamfield and our Eclair. Now going to town on Ninrai's base. Ninrai might be gluten intolerant here, can't do donuts. And Wesh is not making gluten-free donuts. That's kind of a cool animation. You see the donuts kind of pirouetting around each other. Little animations. But I think Wesh made a little bit of a misstep here with his air, and his air is no longer existent. It's going to be 1 donut going down. Wesh scrambling to get as many ASF as he can over to this side of the map, and Eclair down to 14,000 HP. But Eclair looking like it's going to survive. And now we've got Bear Claw making his way out of the base. Again, not a donut, but, you know, don't at me. They sell them at donut shops. That is the rule. They sell them at donut shops. And if they sell them at donut shops, at least donut shops in Texas, I have no end of names. So they sell like everything at donut shops in Texas. It is not just donuts. I don't know about the rest of the United States. I think the rest of the world just doesn't really eat donuts because they're sugary pieces of shit, but the US, we live on donuts. Alright, that's going to be Eclair going down. Bear Claw now moving into position. Awasa out from Millen-wise. I'm not quite sure what happened to the Awasa from Wi-Fi. I've been focused on my donuts, like any good American. Sugar and carbs. They make the world go round, baby. But, the ass washer there for Millen-wise. 42 kills on it. 6.9k mass killed. So obviously it's been doing something. We also have a fat boy down here for Adikos. Strapped some Adidas on a semi-obese child and has marched it down to the south side of the map, which is good. And now he's taking out Offhams, which is also good. And he has support units in the form of Percivals. Needs to deal with the Utah Shalas. But this could be a very productive push and could shut down a little bit more mass there for Wi-Fi, although all these are Tech 1, with the exception of one random Tech 3, which I'm sure was due to camera placement whenever he selected all of his Tech 2 mexes and mass upgraded them to Tech 3. Okay, so Wi-Fi is going in on the Donut Shop game too. What do we need to... We need to start naming... We need to start naming his donuts, I think. So we'll go with Blueberry Cake, because Wi-Fi is blue. And then we'll go with... what would this be? I think, what's another blue one? Is there another blue one? They have this weird place in Austin that does like these cereal donuts. It's like cereal covered with stuff. So we'll name this one Lucky Charms, because I think that's what they call their donut, covered in Lucky Charms. Because that's what you need is carbs and sugar covered with more carbs and sugar. God, what a time to be alive. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen? Alright, 35 minutes in. Team 1, about 70k mass up. So not insurmountable at all. The Fat Boy going down definitely did not put on the right running shoes today. Adikos is going to need to order a new pair of Adidas for his next Fat Boy. Although I'm not sure if he's going to for another Fat Boy. Nope, he is. It's right there, staring me in the face. We do have another Fat Boy on the move. Now let's check in with... Okay, we've got an emissary out for Wesh. I think that literally just completed, because I'm not seeing any shells firing yet. That's going to be the first shell going off. Wi-Fi has double nukes. So that's going to be the in-game strategy for Wi-Fi, is just going to be nuke them into oblivion. Air might have shifted to Team 2 now. Let's take a quick ASF count, because that's a ton of ASF. 210 ASFs there for Wi-Fi, while Wesh down at 106. So yes, the balance of power has shifted. Wi-Fi is definitely sucking hind teeth here as he moves in Lucky Charms as well as Blueberry Cake Donut. And Wesh has made a new donut for himself, and this one's yellow, so making me... Yeah, Wesh is yellow, making me think about yellow stuff. We'll call this one lemon filled, lemon jelly filled. I know we already used jelly, but I was pretty vague with which type of jelly. So now we'll get some more specific, because now we have a lot of donuts. Donuts making me go nuts. As Wesh takes a terrible turn, trying to get as many ASF out of Dodge as he can. But he's going to lose a good portion of his Air Force here. Now we've got lemon filled just hanging out. Corona's now going to come around and soak it in beer. I don't know if you've ever had a lemon-filled donut soaked in Corona. No, I never have, but it doesn't sound that good. And now Wesh is not very happy about that one. Although he is... Oh, we got an ass washer out now from Wi-Fi as well. Is he even going to be able to... He's not going to be able to take out one of the donuts. So, Blueberry Cake down to about half HP. towing Lucky Charm in behind him. Meanwhile, we got Bidet Mark 1 off of the assembly line there for Wi-Fi. And that's going to be Blueberry Cake going down. And there's a lot of Sams in here for Wesh's base. That donut, though, going to drop straight on the emissary. And that is going to, I believe, end all diplomatic relations from that emissary. Much like if an emissary was to show up to negotiate things with you, if there was an emissary that came in and you started throwing donuts at him, the emissary would probably end negotiations. And then just, yeah, if you dropped a donut on an emissary. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, like, somebody rolls into the White House, okay? It's like, let's say emissary from Russia rolls into the White House and is, like, going to negotiate with Biden, and Biden just, like, drops a donut on his head. And is like, I guess that concludes negotiations. I'm going all over the map here. I'm kind of tired. As Harb's now moving in from Wesh. Support commanders. I can't get the image out of my mind of Biden just throwing a donut at a diplomat. Or whoever would meet with the diplomat, whether it's the Secretary of State. I'm not sure. I guess it might be the Secretary of State. I can't get that out of my mind. Just like two dudes in suits throwing donuts at each other. Alright. Harbingers. Moving in. Taking down some Rambo comms. There's a GC here from Wi-Fi that's going to help out, stem the tide. Ravager's going down for the trot. As GC standing strong against the Harbingers. And that Bidet is going to wash the asses of all of the Harbingers. And that's going to be the end of that push there for Wesh. Although Wesh did take out a good portion of Ninrai's old base, as we can see here. And Sniper Bot's actually coming in from Millenwise as well. And they're going to get reclaimed, or attempted to reclaim. Do Sniper Bots have minimum range? I can't remember. It doesn't show their range either. Well, either way. This is like elephants with a mosquito. It's like, yeah, you definitely know that that's happening. If you're an elephant, you can definitely tell you've been bitten, but you don't really care. Another ass washer out for Wi-Fi. Gonna take out a sick amount of Tech 1 and Tech 2 units. I'm not quite sure why those still exist and why Decos is still producing strikers. But he has finished a Duke, so that is something quite promising from him. So a Duke and the Emissary walk into the White House and then get a bunch of donuts thrown at them. And so we'll see if that's going to be Wi-Fi's strategy here. Nuke out from Wi-Fi. I didn't quite catch where it was going. I don't see the little decal. We're just going to have to follow it. Looks like it's headed up here north towards where Wesh was trying to kind of get re-established here. Has started on another emissary, and that nuke is coming in to once again conclude negotiations, I believe. Well, we'll see if it's close enough to the emissary. I think the emissary is actually out of range there. Yeah, emissary's good. Emissary's good. The nuclear negotiations were unsuccessful with the emissary. As another run of Harbingers. Wesh has really just had like these 5 factories just cranking Harbs on assistance, Harbs and Redeemers. Just on repeat for forever, and it's just using them to cause so many problems for team number 2. As Harbingers once again making it to the outskirts of Latrot's base, Volthus in hot pursuit, Oblivion turrets showering the Harbingers with the message of their own destruction. More Volthus actually coming in as well. That is another nuke out from Wi-Fi. Let me see if I can see where this one's going. Okay, so that one is going for... Alright, so Wi-Fi's had enough of this base. He's really tired of all the Harbingers coming in and trumpeting their doom. And shows that by washing them all off with one of his bidets. Meanwhile, that artillery is still kind of plunking away. Actually done some pretty significant damage here to Wi-Fi's air infrastructure. Czar gets queued up there, and Wi-Fi going for some more shield coverage. The nice thing is, I think he's got enough ASFs for a bit, especially considering Wesh is unable to produce ASFs at this point. I don't believe he has a Tech 3 Air HQ, and I think he's just kind of given up on the prospect. I think he's just like, yep, I'm not going to get one back. I'm just going to reclaim everything, throw it all into an emissary and Tech 3 power, which he is going for quite a bit of. Is he stalling like a lot? No, he's not even well, I guess he's floating off of his allies, but there's going to be Duke number 2 nearing completion there for Adikos. So we see that bad boy come online and begin negotiations with Wi-Fi. We'll see if Wi-Fi is using WEP or WPA2. Ah, got him. Tech jokes. I know tech jokes. I actually can't remember what WPA stands for, though. I'm pretty sure WEP is wireless encrypted protection, if I remember correctly. That can be broken pretty easily with packet analysis. I'm now blanking on what WPA stands for. Is it wireless protected authentication? Wireless protected access? I'm blanking, and now I look like an idiot. Yeah, but that one's very difficult to hack. Like, really, the only way you can do it is either rainbow tables, which take a ton of CPU power, or brute forcing, which takes a really, really long time, especially if you don't have a predefined dictionary. And a lot of routers have built-in protection against brute force attacks, so I don't know why I went off on like a hacking Wi-Fi tangent. For those of y'all that don't know, my day job is cybersecurity, so I do have like a reason to be I do have a reason to know this kind of stuff. As Coronas and Awasas move out from Wi-Fi, now moving in, gonna run over a lot of Cougars there for Adikos, and there are a lot of Sams in that base too. So Asswasher needs to get how many shields are there? There's 2 shields. I'm not sure if one payload is going to be enough. Might need a second pass, but we'll see. He control K's it too. So payload with the crash damage is going to take out. Is it? Is it going to? No, not going to take out either of the Dukes. Not quite enough. Did need a second payload. I don't think that first payload didn't break the shield like he needed. I think if he had broken the shields, gotten some residual damage off, and then crashed, it would have made it, but such is the case in Love and War. As nuke launchers actually now exposed, neither of which have nuke loaded, but these have been kind of what team number 2 has been leaning on here for quite a bit. As that's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Does still have one. One is nearly loaded. We'll see what the next payload, the next shell does. Duke's not very accurate. There's an Athota shooting somewhere. There are 3 Athotas over here. I don't even think that's the Athota that's shooting. Is Millen Wise now gearing up for a push of his own? I'm very invested into what happens with this nuke launcher, though. If Wi-Fi gets another nuke off, that's the shield down. Next couple shells coming in. Not gonna hit. Oh wait, nope, not gonna hit. Did miss. All right, we got bigger things to pay attention to. As the Athota is now moving in, they're gonna face off against the GC, Ravager Bank, as well as quite a few Percivals and Tech 1 units, which for some reason still exist for Latrot. Like, we still have, I guess they're Lobos, that makes a little bit more sense. But Ravager Bank's going to go down, and Athota's actually not focusing on the GC. Athota is just very interested in killing Latrot's comm, which is right here next to a T2 power gen. Not suggested. Does have shield, though, as well as Tech 3, so he is a pretty chunky boy. And going to survive, actually, by the skin of his teeth. And that deposited a lot of reclaim on the doorstep there for Latrot, assuming he can get to it. Well, he can definitely get to it safely. Although these ion storms now kicking off. That kills. It really likes the Tech 3 HQ. Tech 3 HQ gonna go down. We'll see if anything else goes down that is important. I think this Tech 3 power generator. Maybe this one. Oh, he gets the S&D. Oh, no. That was like the most value ion storm I think I've ever seen. I think the ion storm did more damage than the actual Athoda. But regardless, there is now 125,000 reclaim here. So we got a lot of T1 factories here. They've gotten to work on engineers. Good to see. Love to see it. But the fun is not over, as more troops now streaming in from Millenwise as well as Wesh. And things are really starting to look rough here for team number 2. As Latrot just struggling hardcore to hold this northern side, even without air. Like, team number 1 has not built an ASF in a long time. Actually, I take that back. Millenwise has now become the air player for team number 1. Up at 135 ASF, so not a shabby air force in the slightest. How does that compare to Wi-Fi's? Got 300. Okay. I guess it wasn't a shabby air force 15 minutes ago. But we do have a Havatham almost done for Millenwise. So in addition to his air grid, also getting into the T3 artillery of his own. The emissary does complete. The Asswasher does take out one Duke. Donut to follow. Has taken a lot of damage and is going to crash and kill that Duke. So 2 Dukes for the price of a donut. Yes, the same rule applies. You drop a donut on an emissary, the emissary is done. Drop a donut on a Duke, the Duke is done as well. But the emissary is up for West. She's got a second one on the way, third one actually as well. So classic, I've queued up too many things, or I have so much mass and I don't know what to do with it kind of thing, which seems to be kind of the case. As I think he might have been floating mass there for a little bit. Which is, I mean, hard to not do whenever you have that much reclaim at your disposal. Wesh sitting at 800 plus eco. Wi-Fi also at 800 plus eco. But artillery really starting to take its toll now. As Wesh trying to go for an emissary of his own. Got one up. Was trying to go for a second one, but needs to get some more shields up around it. And there's a Novax, adding insult to injury. This is literally, there was a thumbnail, I think it was probably Willow's like funniest thumbnail I've ever seen, but the UEF defense, point defense is like, this is attacking, right? Literally the UEF defense satellite attacking things. And the best defense is a good offense, you know? That was a nice juicy artillery shell taking out Tech 3 power, as well as a couple of air factories there for Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, though, don't think he has his HQ anymore, so unable to continue to produce air units. At least have those factories. Does have a Tech 3 factory there. Okay, so he does have a Tech 3 HQ. He does have Seraphim Tech 3, so not entirely out of the Tech 3 game. Ooh, look at that damage. That's a lot of damage. Gonna need some flex tape for that one. But does bag a ton of lightning tanks, as the Ravager Bank now recently refreshed there from Latrot. Continuing to open fire. We got a GC, some Harbs, and a bunch of Tech 1 bearing down on his doorstep. I think Ravagers are really the best at dealing with Tech 1. I mean, they do okay. They do better than Triads. But people seem to forget, like, Tech 1 PD, if I'm remembering correctly, has the highest damage per second of any PD in the game. And Wesh actually just dodging the Ravagers. Alright, GC nearly down. Needs to finish the job, though. There it goes. Now the Ravagers are going to go to work ravaging these 4 Tech 1 units. Alright, shields down around the emissary. Next barrage coming in right now. It's going to be nearly a bullseye. Okay, that one will take the cake. Okay. I don't know what other cards Team 2 really has to play at this point. They played a damn good game. But a little too late to the artillery game, and I don't know how they're going to be able to deal with this. We've got a couple of Awasas out from Wi-Fi. He is going to engage Millenwise's Air Force here. Millenwise with a healthy Air Force, but I think Wi-Fi just with numbers going to take this fight. I think Wi-Fi might be gearing up for one last all-in play here with Awasas as the third one now finishes. Yeah, so we got ASFs, we got Awasas, we got gunships. This is the last gasp. Gunship's actually going after a GC, not a bad idea. Where are these guys going? Not 100% sure. Oh, and West's commander actually, I believe he control K'd, or he took an artillery shell. I think he took an artillery shell. And that is actually going to be it for our replay, as Latrot was soon to control K behind him. I hope you guys enjoyed the replay. I definitely enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun with it. So I will see y'all in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube pokey, etc. Peace.